Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Voiddyn and today we're going to be talking about a deck that has been a mainstay and also a menace of the format for such a long time, and that is Lugia VSTAR. Now Lugia VSTAR was a thing back in the day when we had a more VSTAR heavy format before we had rotation, but after rotation the deck is still kicking butt. Lugia VSTAR is all based around the Summoning Star ability, which allows you to bring back two normal Pokemon that don't have a rule box from your discard pile to your bench. So when you use this, the number one Pokemon that you end up getting is Archeops. Archeops has Primal Turbo, which says once during your turn you may search your deck for two special energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. The idea is that we get to play Pokemon with stronger attacks that normally don't get to really shine because it takes too much to get the energy out there. Now, in the community, this deck is considered gambling a little bit because your main goal is to get the Archeops into the discard, so you play stuff like Capturing Aroma, which allows you to add them to hand, and then you use stuff such as Ultra Ball or Professor's Research to discard them into your discard as soon as possible. Now, for some of your attackers in this list, you're going to go for basically anything that benefits off of a bunch of special energy. The main card that seems like it was printed for this list was Cinccino. Cinccino has the attack special roll for 2 colorless that deals 70 damage for each special energy attached to this Pokemon. Originally the decks pivoted to be more Cinccino heavy, but as you know, we kind of evolved in the format, just having Cinccino out is not enough for you to close games because you only have a limited amount of special energy to get out of your deck. So we use stuff such as Iron Hands EX with the ability to amp you very much by using the Legacy Energy as our ace spec. Legacy Energy as our ace spec allows us to have any type of energy, which allows us to attack with things that we normally wouldn't attack with. We can also take advantage of Wellspring Mask Ogerpon as well with the Torrential Pump, which deals 100 damage and shuffles 3 energy back into the deck to deal 120 to a benched Pokemon as well. So this can come up by locking things in the active too with its Sob attack, but let's say for whatever reason we want to pick something off early, this card is definitely a good attacker for those situations. But just remember with this deck, you're not going to be using your main attackers all the time because you have so many different options. So let's talk about the special energy in the deck. The special energy in the deck are obviously going to be double turbo energies, which provide 2 energy but reduce the damage your Pokemon does by 20 for each attached. We also play Gift Energy, which says as long as it's attached to a Pokemon, it provides a colorless energy, and then if it gets knocked out, you get to draw until you have 7 cards in hand. Along with that, we have Jet Energy, which allows us to promote something from the bench to the active if we play it from our hand. And then we have Legacy Energy as well. On top of that, we also play Mist Energy, which prevents attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this card. Along with that, we don't really have any other special Pokemon besides Wyrdeer V. Wyrdeer V is very unique because it allows you to move any energy from it, or from... Wyrdeer V is very unique because its ability Frontier Road, it says once during your turn when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may move any amount of energy from your other Pokemon to it. Basically what you do is you use Psy Shield Bash, which deals 40 times the number of energy attached to this Pokemon. Now this can be a finisher, this can be something to mix things up, maybe you want to be able to get something else out of the active, but we want to partner this with our Jet Energy to move it from the bench into the active as soon as possible. Overall, I think this deck is pretty solid. This is a list that I grabbed off of Limitless. It looks like my opponent is starting off with Chien-Pao, or at least has the Chien-Pao coin. When we go for this type of thing, we want to try to knock out stuff on the bench and be as aggressive as possible when doing setups, right? So we're okay with doing stuff with like our Wellspring Ogerpon to be able to knock out stuff on the bench, but like our hand right now as is, we didn't really get much off that first one. The good news is that we are both mulliganing, and it looks like my opponent's playing Nemona as well, which you don't see that often. Unfortunately, with this deck, the awkward times is that sometimes we get started with a Bloodmoon Ursaluna, and Bloodmoon Ursaluna makes it so that we kind of are stuck in the active for a little bit. But we do have an Archeops as well as a Capturing Aroma in our hand. So what we can do is we can try to Capturing Aroma to try to get ourselves the second Archeops to put into the discard to Professor's Research our hand away and draw into a better card set. My opponent didn't really do much here, so what we're going to do is we're going to Capturing Aroma, hope we flip a heads. Even if we don't, see, we flipped a tails here, which is kind of rough for us. So what we're going to do is we are going to probably just grab ourselves a Lugia to put onto the bench because we need it anyway. And then I'm going to auto-attach this Gift Energy to the active, and we're going to Professor's Research early. It stinks because we don't get the double Archeops. Actually, speaking of which, we have this Archeops here. So we'll probably do that now. So let's get rid of this Archeops. And let's... Part of me wants to get rid of the Jacq because we don't really need it right now. But Jacq next turn can get us some bonus stuff. So let's get rid of the energy and let's find ourselves, you know, kind of something else to set up onto the bench as well. We kind of want to get ready to have an attacker, even if we don't have one right now. So, like, in my hand, I have a Cinccino, but I don't know if that's exactly where we want to be. And they're playing a lot of stage 3 stuff. So if they're playing a lot of stage 3 stuff, I feel like we have to be ready to deal with more than just what's out there. So let's get ourselves set up probably with a Minccino, just so that we can evolve next turn and get ourselves all set up. And then we'll end turn here. Right, and because we have Gift Energy, right, if it gets KO'd from an attack, we'll draw until we have 7 cards in hand. Nothing too terrible. Looks like they're playing Hydreigon and Scorbunny, or Cinderace as well. A little bit weird, but nothing too terrible. I'm guessing that they're going to evolve, yep, straight into the Pidgeot. So Pidgeot's going to allow them to search anything they want out of their deck and kind of just use it as needed, right? So they need to get up their Scorbunny, they need to get up some other stuff as well, right? The Hydreigon as well. One of the biggest things that we have to worry about with the Hydreigon, though, is Hydreigon does mill us. Makes us discard the top 3 cards of our deck, and because of that, we're going to be in a very unique situation where we have to worry about getting decked out by our opponent. Now, we do hit for 240 onto the Bloodmoon Ursaluna with the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, which is pretty good. So as long as we attach next turn, heck, we might even just get started with the Bloodmoon Ursaluna and just attack whenever we can. Right, they attached onto the active thinking that we're not going to attack next turn, and we most definitely are going to attack next turn. There's no reason for us to not. So we're going to evolve here. I'm going to Jacq right now, and we're going to get this Lugia VSTAR as well as this Archeops. And the reason why we're getting the Archeops is because of the fact that we do not want to draw it later on, right? So I'm going to Summoning Star now and get the 2 that I need, right? We're going to get both Archeops. And then I'm also going to attach the double turbo from hand onto here. And like, we want to be kind of sparing, right? So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we need 2 here. So I'm okay with only doing 200 on the active, right? So we'll do 200 and then we'll do a Mist Energy, right? So that'll bring 4 and that'll be 5. And then I also want to have a second setup, but I don't want to lose all my... maybe we do this now just in case. So we'll go, for our other guys, let's do another Mist Energy, and then I will do a Gift Energy straight onto the Cinccino on the back, just to be ready, just in case, right? And then here, then we just take the knockout. We take the 200 damage to the active Scorbunny, and then if we need to next turn, we could just retreat, as we can't really attack anyway. And we have the Cinccino kind of started up. Now, the biggest problem we have in this deck is that if we draw the energy that we need back in the list, we can't attach with Archeops. So we have to be careful and we have to be a little bit slow when attaching because we don't want to accidentally run out of energy left in deck, right? So maybe if I'm sitting down and I'm keeping track of, like, I'm playing this in paper or something like that, maybe I get a pen and paper and I'd be like, okay, how many energy have I used? How many energy do I have left? Right? Things of the sort. Right now, it looks like they are setting up for their Hydreigon. Honestly, I might get to the point where I go, we could set up a Wellspring next turn to knock out the benched Pokemon if we want. Right? Do a certain amount to the active, then hit on the bench. The really cool thing about the Archeops is that we get to hit for 100 to the active and then 120 to the bench and almost treat it like it doesn't really matter because we shuffle those energy back in, which is what we want to do anyway. And by shuffling those energy back in, we get to almost take full advantage of the fact that our opponent is like not, or the fact that our Archeops can get those energy back out, right? And that they're not kind of on the field to really worry about it. Like to worry about getting put into the discard. So we'll kind of just vibe as we kind of get this stuff all sorted out. Again, this is like one of the hardest parts when playing this deck, right? It's kind of just pre-planning and saying, well, what do we need to do, right? They're kind of setting up for Score Bunny. They're setting up for, Hydreigon as well. So if we had a boss's orders here, which would be perfect, which I don't believe we're going to have, but if we did have our boss's orders, what we would do is we would probably just say, hey, look, oh, hey, they may have given me 2 prize cards here, but they didn't notice that yet. So let's hope that we have a Wellspring. Okay, that's a Lugia V. We don't need that just yet. Let's get rid of these 2 guys because we don't need those. And let's get ourselves a Wellspring. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? The idea is that it's like, why wouldn't you just simply, like, play Iron Hands EX and then just, do a 2-prize knockout on this guy? And the reason being is that we want to get to a position where we do not have to worry as much about getting our, we don't want to have to get into a position where we have to worry about anything else really going on. We want to be able to knock out and stop the momentum that our opponent has here. So let's get rid of a double turbo, and then we'll get rid of this gift energy, right? Then we're going to promote this Ogerpon. And then let's attach. We'll get 1 more from here, right? And I guess what we'll do is we'll choose another jet energy. We don't need another jet energy to the active, but we'll have it just in case. Right, and these guys are getting shuffled back in. And we'll just do it this way. Yes, I want to shuffle energy back into my deck. I'd like to deal 120 to the back and 100 to the active. And basically what we're doing is yes, our Wellspring Ogerpon is stuck in the active, but realistically we're stopping my opponent from building up momentum to be able to do anything else. Now it's crazy because we also have the Cinccino ready to go too. The Cinccino is currently sitting at what, 140, and then we could get a real big hit after this. Maybe hopefully we get into a Gen Energy or something of the sort. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to go for the knockout. Is this a de-evolution? It is a de-evolution. Okay. It's 170 on the back. Maybe if we get a boss's orders. Okay. I don't know why they wanted to de-evolve. By the way, Mist Energy is the thing that blocked that de-evolution, which was huge for us. So, what I'm going to do here is I can't get the knockout just straightforward with that stuff. So, maybe what we do is let's research our hand away. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to Primo Turbo. We're gonna try to get a big knockout here. So we'll go 1 here, and then we'll go 1 gift energy to the Cinccino, right? How much does this hit for now? Wish it would tell me in the preview. But that's 4, right? 7, that is 280 exactly, right? So then what we'll do is let's go another 1 here, Primal Turbo. I don't want to have to lose an energy, but I think we do, right? We'll put it on the active. We will retreat here. And let's bring out the Cinccino. And my opponent conceded, right? So the idea is that we're just consistent. We're controlling the board. We know what pieces to hit. We didn't know what my opponent was playing per se, but we knew how to stop interaction, right? So a lot of the times you don't have to know your opponent's deck but you kind of have to get an idea of what's going on, right? My opponent was playing stage 1s, and we wanted to take out, or I'm sorry, my opponent was playing stage 2s, and we wanted to take out the basics so that they were not able to evolve into those stage 2s, right? They were a little bit slow, maybe they didn't find the stuff that they needed, but we saw that the Crispins were coming down and they were attaching to the Score Bunnies, so they were clearly looking to play a Cinderace. So, by hitting those Score Bunnies with that energy on there, we kind of just shut down their whole gameplay. So with this deck, I don't think we ever really want to go first. It's really rough if we go first. Not like rough in the aspect of, you know, you lose the game by going first, but we lose so much advantage in our supporters and things of the sort, right? So what we will probably do is just set up... Oh, wow, my opponent's going first. Okay. Not a big deal. Unfortunately, our hand was pretty good, but we didn't have a basic to start with. We still don't have a basic to start with. Wait, what's our basic? Oh, they're playing Milotic. Interesting. Are they playing Chien-Pao? Looks like they're playing Chien-Pao. So the way that we stop against their type of list is we utilize the Mist energies where we can and get the knockouts where we can. It looks like they're playing like the Milotic Sleep Lock type of deck. I really enjoy those types of lists. It's one of my favorites, you know, but I've played them so much at locals and like played them locally and it had not performed. So sometimes you got to play something a little bit aggressive. Okay, we took another mulligan. Oh my gosh, this list is so rough sometimes, guys. Look at our hand. Our hand is so bad. We're gonna have to... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jet energy to the bench. Us losing so many energy is so rough, and it might actually cost us the game. There's no like special charge or anything in the format that allows us to shuffle things back in, which is real rough. So the best way that we get out of this situation is that we top deck an Iono, right? Top decking Iono allows us to shuffle these guys back in, even if they go to the bottom, right? We don't want a Squawkabilly if we can avoid it, but sometimes you just can't avoid it. Okay, there's the switch. So with Chien-Pao, we have to get rid of the Frigibax. We have to, you know, stop them from being able to accelerate, right? That's how we end up winning these games. By letting them accelerate using their bench, we will be in a... Oh my gosh, look at how bad our hand is. Okay, so let's use this jet energy first. Get the Squawkabilly into the active. And then discard our complete hand. My gosh, our hand has been so bad. And honestly, we wanted a Tails there, but you know what? We can't be choosers here. So we'll do this, we'll do this. We're gonna get ourselves... We're gonna have to get ourselves a Lugia and hope for the best. I did not get a Lugia last turn, but we're gonna attack to the active and hope that we can recover. Honestly, that search probably should have been a Lugia VSTAR or a Cinccino, one of the two. But this is such a bad hand. This is why, if you guys are hesitant about playing Lugia VSTAR, it's understandable. It's hands like these that make you not want to play the deck. Right? You could get such a bad draw that you have to get yourself out of, and a lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people would rather not have a hand that once you have to discard or do all this stuff, you end up bricking yourself with. Now, we're not bricked, right? We still can do stuff, but 5 energy into the discard is very bad. Honestly, if we don't get an Ultra Ball next turn, we might be in trouble. See, like, this research is real bad too. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put the Legacy Energy on something, I think, right? Or we put the Mist Energy onto the Minccino, just so that it's out. We have so much energy we're down, guys. We'll try this again. We got Heads. Heads is good. Heads gets us a Cinccino and a Lugia VSTAR. Oh, it only gets one, right? So we want the Lugia VSTAR. So we'll go Lugia VSTAR right here. Let's Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball is going to discard the Lugia and the Archeops, and we'll get a Cinccino off this. Honestly, we should... oh, no, Legacy Energy's in the discard, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, we'll go Cinccino here. Right, Cinccino evolves here. Let's Summoning Star, right? Gets us 2 Archeops. And then we'll go Primal Turbo. And we'll... oh my gosh, we only have 4 energy left. So we'll have to go Jet Energy to here. So that gets us what? 70, 140, 120. So this is very... like, we do not want to overextend here whatsoever. We cannot discard anymore. We can't do anything else. But we are going to special roll, taking the knockout, grabbing this, and trying to stay in. It looks like my opponent is in just as bad of a spot as I am, if not worse. My goal after this is probably to draw a card and then Iono, just to put this energy back into the deck, right? Like, we are in such a bad spot. We may end up having to attack with Lugia VSTAR, which you never want to do if you can avoid it. We have 8 energy in the discard. I don't even remember how many energy we play. I think we play 16, 15. But, you know, we are just trying to be consistent here and trying to get knockouts. Looks like my opponent does not have anything to do here. There's the Phoebos. Okay. I'm going to attempt to get a knockout here. There's not going to be any... so here's the thing, right? If we knock this out, there is nothing else there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave everything open. We're not going to do anything here. We're in a special roll for the knockout. And just simply, like, take it slow, get prizes, right? There's no need to rush. My opponent clearly hasn't drawn the stuff that they need, and neither have we. I mean, like, we kind of needed that legacy energy just to be able to use special attacks. But our opponent conceded just because they were not able to get set up. I'm guessing they had no other basics to put into play. Like basic Pokemon to put into play. And it's like really saddening, as Chien-Pao is one of, if not my favorite deck in the format. Yeah, no, that's about it for Lugia VSTAR, guys. This is a deck that I'm not as familiar with, that I don't play that often. But all my friends that play it absolutely love it. The highs are high, the lows are low. And honestly, I don't think, if you're looking to play something that's a little bit more skill expressive and a little bit more RNG, I would suggest Lugia VSTAR. If you guys liked the video, give the video a like. And I will see you guys next week as we have another cool video coming out soon. So thanks, guys. Have a great day. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.